we've looked through Matthew's gospel the last couple weeks, and we've looked through the prophecies of Isaiah through the season of Advent. And it has been a great opportunity for us to reflect and think about the prophecies of Isaiah. As we begin this morning, we want to continue in our look through Matthew. In just a few moments, we'll read the scripture together. Sorry, I'm really struggling this morning because my head is not quite here with me this morning. So I will do my best to get through the sermon this morning, but not feeling great. Through the season of Advent, we looked at the Christmas story. We walked through Isaiah. We looked at Matthew. And now we see that the shepherds have gone. The Magi have went home. And we come to the story this morning, and we think that everything should be quiet and calm. But it's not. We find this morning that baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph are all of a sudden on the move again. Let me read from Matthew this morning. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said, "and take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I called my son." When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious. He gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and in the vicinity who were 2 years old or young or under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. "A voice is heard in Ram, weeping in great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted, because they are no more." After Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother and go to the land of Israel, for those who were trying to take the child's life are dead." So he got up, took the child and his mother, and went to the land of Israel. When they heard that Archelaus was reigning in Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Having been warned in a dream, he withdrew to a district of Galilee. And he went and lived in a town called Nazareth. So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets, that he would be called a Nazarene. Before Jesus could talk or walk, his life was in danger. King Herod believed that this small bundle of joy was a threat to his throne. And therefore he ordered all the boys in Bethlehem to be killed that were anywhere near Jesus' age. Joseph and Mary fled to a country, to Egypt, to protect Jesus and stayed there until Herod died. The first few years of Jesus' life was a mess. His parents were social misfits, now refugees. Jesus' very life was in danger from this mentally unstable king. And yet, in the midst of all of this, shepherds and magi had come to worship Jesus as the Messiah, the King of the Jews. In all of this mess, hope was shining bright in all of the darkness. N.T. Wright puts it this way: "No point in arriving in comfort when the world is in misery. No point having an easy life when the world suffers violence and injustice. If he is to be Emmanuel, God with us, he must be with us where the pain is. Jesus is with us in our darkest days, because he had dark days as well. From his birth to his death on the cross, Jesus was a threat. He had a price on his head. He was a homeless refugee walking among those who saw his true potential. No doubt Mary and Joseph hoped to put those early years behind them as they focused on their future, returning to Nazareth and raising a young boy, settling down and calling it home. We don't need to look very far to see darkness in the world around us, do we? The war in Ukraine continues on. Families and children spent another Christmas underground fearing attacks from Russia. In the regions of Nigeria, there is no longer Christmas Eve services, no caroling in the streets, no presents to give to neighbors. Countless Christians have been killed for their faith, churches burnt. It seems like darkness is winning all the time. Yet in other parts of the world, the Christian faith continues to flourish. In all of this darkness, still, there is reason for hope. I don't know if you remember the first Sunday of Advent. The theme was hope. I asked you to participate in this hope by writing down what you were hopeful for on these little red cards. No, it's not a raffle. I went through each and every one of them, read each one, categorized them into a couple of different categories. Most of them were about hope for peace in the world. Others about the salvation of loved ones, and others about improved health and spiritual growth. Hope moves even in the dark corners of our lives. Hope moves in dreams and whispers that God is at work even now. Have you ever thought about Joseph in this story? Joseph has several dreams. Dreams that help direct him and his young family to safely to Egypt and then back home to Nazareth. Darkness seemed to overwhelm them, and yet God was at work, whispering to Joseph in the night while he slept to go and to do certain things. God is still at work in our own lives and in our world. There is hope to be had as the light of Christ continues to shine a little bit brighter each and every day. There is light at work in our dark world. Even in the midst of our own darkness, of our own lives, and the darkness in parts of our families, the light of Christ begins to shine just a little bit brighter. Jesus came to live and lived a life of love, a life of hope in the darkness. Amidst our pain and suffering, he was not afraid of the darkness, as his light was much superior, even as a babe in a manger. And as we think about this new year that comes, we do hope for peace. We hope for better health. We hope for the salvation of loved ones. And may we as a church live into that hope instead of living into fear. See, fear led Herod to react to the news that a new king was coming. Fear led Herod to react and take action, killing innocent lives needlessly. Fear led Herod to selfishly think of himself first, to protect himself, to defend himself, wanting to secure his power and his legacy for as long as possible. Fear is a strong motivator in a world of darkness. Fear can lead us down dangerous paths. But hope is an equally strong motivator in our dark world. Hope can bring light to horrible situations. Hope can help the pain we feel in our lives subside. Though the pain is still there, hope can heal. How do we live into hope this coming year? May we keep living out the hope together as His church. Most of us, if we look back to 2025, we can say, well, the year was pretty good. No major things to write home about, no devastations in our lives. And as we roll into 2026, we can only hope for better. Hope for better in our own lives, hope for better in our church, hope for better in our world. And yet, at the same time, it is a challenge to be hopeful. How do we be hopeful in a world of so much unknown? First, we start by doing it together. Praying together, being together, caring for each other when times are great, and celebrating in those times, and in the tough times, coming together to pray and comfort and support one another. I'd like to be able to stand up here and tell you that I know exactly what 2026 is going to be like, but I don't. I'm sure there are trends and there's things and there's ideas about all the things that 2026 might unfold into. But we don't really know. But I can stand here and say that I'm hopeful. Hopeful that we as a church will continue to draw each other closer to Jesus. Hopeful that we will continue to come together in worship and prayer, singing and sharing our lives together and helping people in need. I'm hopeful for a new start as we think about the new year. I want to choose hope, Emmanuel, God with us, as we walk into 2026. With all of its joys and with all of its challenges, may we choose the hope that comes in Jesus. Hope brings us to recognize God's faithfulness, His presence among us. How is God present among us? Well, let's list off a few things that we're thankful for. Thankful for our ladies group who meet weekly and study and pray together and live their lives together. Thankful for Bill and the men's group as they meet together on Saturday mornings and pray and share and go for breakfast together, support one another. Thankful for the other groups that meet during the week, and whether that's a weekly gathering or an impromptu gathering, I'm thankful that we do life together. I'm hopeful that we will continue to do more of that in the new year. I'm thankful for the way that we're involved in our community and beyond the walls of the church. Thankful for the faithful volunteers in places like the Gleaners and Canadian Food for Children, the Salvation Army Food Bank, and many other places. Thankful and hopeful that we will continue to volunteer and help people in need. I'm thankful for the opportunity to take youth and adults to Mexico to build a home. I'm hopeful that we will be able to do that in March. I'm thankful that we have this wonderful building that allows groups in our community to come together and do their work. I'm thankful that it allows us to do ministry each and every day. That allows us an opportunity to come and worship together. Thankful for those that help take care of it. I'm thankful and hopeful for the projects we have planned for the new year. Thankful for those that help with our kids program and youth program, for our teachers and leaders. Thankful for Felicia and Young Life as she works faithfully sharing her life with young people. Thankful for the tech team and the worship leaders, the board and the deacons, as they serve quietly, often behind the scenes, working hard, making sure everything looks right and sounds right and is taken care of. Thankful for Lonnie in the office as she makes sure that the rest of us are in line, but also that she makes sure the bulletin's out and the bills are paid and everything is in order. I'm hopeful that we continue to be faithful with the ways God has called us. I'm hopeful that we would continue to shine the amazing light of Jesus even brighter in this new year. As we listen to the whispers of his voice, as we pay attention to the dreams he puts in our minds and the sleep that we have, that we would be ready, like Mary and Joseph, to take action. That we would choose hope, even in the darkness. Next Sunday, I will not be here with you. Bill's going to preach next Sunday. But as some of you know, our daughter has had some back issues and has been going back and forth to BC Children's for months. And we go on Sunday to meet with a surgeon to talk about possible back surgery, brain surgery, something in there, and I want to be hopeful that my 16-year-old daughter will be okay. I want to choose hope. And so we will be at BC Children's on Monday, the 5th and the 6th, learning exactly what needs to happen. And once we know, we'll let you know. But we're hopeful. Hopeful that we'll have a surgeon that will be able to do the work that he needs to do. Hopeful that it won't be as serious as we think it might be. Hopeful that in the end, God is faithful and in control of all things. And we trust him. And we put her and us and you in his hands as we move into 2026. So we remain hopeful, and we trust in him. Just as Mary and Joseph walked out of Bethlehem to Egypt as refugees, they were hopeful that God had an amazing plan for them. And they trusted, and they went. And so we trust, and we will go. We thank you for your prayers and your support. And we look forward to a new year and a new season of ministry.